So if I'm speaking to people about the idea of visiting me or living here, the first thing I want to do is piss you off. The first thing I want to do is tell you all the reasons you shouldn't come here. The reasons we are incompatible. Like, I want to explore those first because that saves us a lot of time. And it doesn't bother me if we're not compatible at all. And don't lie to me either. Don't misrepresent yourself. Plenty of people have done that, and it's just inconvenient. Like, I'm going to be me, and I have very specific visions of how things can work and how they don't work. And I've lived in communities all my life in various forms. I grew up in communities. They were religious communities, cults, and I'm very anti-religious, or more anti-spiritual than anti-religious, because I would like to have almost a religious fervor to the set of values that I come up with and the people that join it, where they really love it, it serves them, and it protects them. That'd be great. So it's odd to say that because a lot of people are very anti-religious, and I understand why, because religion and state get mixed up, and religions have done horrible things to people without any accountability, but usually because they're backed up by this view of a spiritual world, this God that's out there as a magic authority over you. And it's like, it's pretty fucked up shit. So that's not what I mean when I say that I like to have religion in some sense. What I mean is a very defined set of doctrines, of values, that in a sense they do reduce our freedom because we are joining into a social contract with other people. But it's super well defined, it's modern, it's not designed on ancient texts, it's not designed to oppress the minority of people who don't fit in with some, values that don't actually matter. Like, I don't give a fuck if people are gay or something like that. Like, any religion that's against gay people, fuck that religion to hell. It just doesn't matter. Gay people are not a threat to anyone. Yeah, well, they might not want to fuck you. Fine. Most people don't want to fuck me. Some of them do. And so those people matter to me. They're great. But not everybody has to fuck me. That's ridiculous. Some people just like each other and some don't. And so we have to kind of rein in the idea of what religion is and figure out, well, what are the actual values that matter? What really matters? And there's a bunch of shit that actually matters. Like, how do we feed ourselves? How do we feed ourselves for our own health and the health of the planet? How do we grow our food? Hopefully we're growing a bunch of our own food. We don't have to grow it all, but hopefully most of it. I mean, I'm religious about architecture, Like, I'm conflicted about stairs and stuff, When and how should we even have stairs? So it's confusing, but I want to be kind of, in that sense, religious. I mean, how do we relate to dogs? Dogs are a big, important part of my society, and I want the right number of them, and I want to be trained really well so they're not barking assholes and they don't kill shit. And so every detail of how we live matters, and I want to get into that and develop it as a kind of standard for behavior, and then there can be different versions of that, where in one place the standard is different than the other place, and we could even create a whole community that's like, well, we have this base of values, but in this other community we change that. We have a different focus. There could be communities that are more business oriented or not business oriented. There can be ones that have more technology or less technology, and chosen technology very carefully. So, and also for the businesses, we can choose which businesses do we want to be in or not want to be in, because that's going to affect everything. And we can form different alternative types of families around that. I mean, I got weird ideas, it's true, but they're just experimental. And so if you can join or leave these communities easily, not super quickly, like not moving from one to the other, every couple of weeks, but in, long enough, being there long enough to invest in it, and investing in children who grow up in these communities and are really a different kind of person because they didn't grow up in the fucked up standard issue culture of violence and oppression that most of us grew up in. We could do that. It would be cultural design. And it's really tricky shit to think about, and it's going to hit a lot of your buttons. You're going to be like, oh my God, that's terrible, that's terrible. And I'm going to say a lot of shit that sounds terrible. I mean, I don't even like all of it, okay? I'm experimenting with ideas, and I invite you to experiment with ideas with me or in your own life and figure some shit out. But in your own life, you're pretty much fucked. Because you're surrounded by people in systems where they're designed to oppress you. They're designed to own you. And so it's really hard to find freedom in an unfree world. Extremely difficult. Perhaps impossible. Now, you can hopefully still find a way to be a kind person within that. But not easy. I'm very sympathetic with wherever you're coming from. I know it's dang near impossible. But I encourage you to figure out a way to do that and consider the things I say as options, as ideas to potentially take or not take. And if you don't like my idea, that's fine. You don't have to write a rude comment about it. We don't have to agree on everything. I don't control you in any way. I'm giving you this video for free. So if you're somebody who has an anonymous account with no fucking videos on it and you comment, I might just delete your comment. If you're not helpful and useful, go do your own thing. That's fine. But don't pollute my life with your stupid ass comment. Anonymous fuckwad. But good luck to you. Whether we agree or not, irrelevant. I'm going to try and collect people who like my visions, who want to do things my way. And then after I die, a bunch of those people will have been here for years, and they will have a system that will continue after my death for the fulfillment of them and their children, and even contribute to surrounding communities as well. Good luck to us all.